During a family getaway, my parents decided that I should sleep on the couch so my younger brother could have the bed. I couldn't help but smirk and replied, "That's funny, because I reserved the penthouse suite." The hotel manager's announcement made their faces fall. Growing up, it became crystal clear. My brother Ryan could do no wrong. He was the golden child, my parents' favorite, the one who got everything handed to him, while I was left feeling like an afterthought. For his birthdays, there were lavish gifts, grand parties, and a cake that could feed the entire neighborhood. My home? A half-hearted grocery store cake and a simple happy birthday. When it came to college, my parents spared no expense, using every favor and connection to pay for Ryan's education. As for me, I had to work part-time jobs and take out loans to make ends meet. It was always Ryan first, me second. If he wanted something, it was his. If I wanted something, I had to scramble for whatever was left. I spent years biting my tongue, swallowing my pride, and accepting my role as the less important child. But this vacation, this was the moment I decided I was done playing second fiddle. It was supposed to be a family trip to New York City, planned by my parents, of course, which meant Ryan's preferences took center stage. He picked the activities, the restaurants, everything. I was barely consulted. In fact, I might not have even gone if I hadn't overheard my parents one night. "We can't afford the suite," my mom said. "Then we'll just have him sleep on the couch," my dad replied, leaving me out entirely. "Ryan needs a proper bed." That was the moment everything changed. I was 27 with a stable job, a good income, and for the first time in my life, the ability to rewrite the narrative. And that's exactly what I did. On the day of the trip, we arrived at the hotel. It was a luxurious 5-star establishment in the heart of Manhattan, exactly the kind of place my parents wouldn't have chosen if not for Ryan's picky standards. At check-in, my mom handed over her credit card to the receptionist and casually said, "We have a reservation under Taylor." The receptionist tapped the keyboard, then looked up with a frown. "I'm sorry, I don't see any reservation under that name." My mom's smile faded. "That can't be right. I booked the executive suite weeks ago." The receptionist shook her head. "I'm sorry, but there's no reservation here under your name." I stepped forward, smirking. "That's because I made the reservation." My dad whipped around. "What?" I pulled out my phone, showing him the confirmation email. "Yeah, after overhearing you guys decide I'd be sleeping on the couch like an afterthought, I figured I'd take care of the booking myself." Silence. Then the receptionist smiled. "Ah, yes. We have a reservation under your name, sir. You're in the penthouse suite." My mom's jaw dropped. My dad just blinked, processing the words. "Ryan?" Ryan looked furious. "The penthouse?" My mom stammered. I nodded. "Yeah, turns out I make a decent living. I figured if I was going to join this trip, I should be comfortable." The receptionist continued, "The penthouse suite includes a master bedroom, a secondary bedroom, a spacious living area, and a private terrace overlooking Central Park." My parents exchanged glances, then turned to me and Ryan, who looked like he was about to explode. "You're kidding," my dad finally said. I crossed my arms. "Nope. And since I booked it, I'm taking the master bedroom. You two can figure out where you want to sleep." Ryan scowled. "You can't be serious." "Oh, I'm very serious," I replied, enjoying every moment of it. My mom tried to regain control. "Well, we can just add an extra bed in the master, and Ryan can." I cut her off with a laugh. "That's cute." "No, nobody's sharing my bed. You two can have the secondary bedroom and pull out the couch if you want. The king-size master. That's all mine." The reality started to sink in. For the first time, I held all the power. I made the decisions, and they couldn't do anything about it. This was just the beginning. My parents and Ryan stood frozen as the weight of it all hit them. I wasn't the pushover I once was. I let the silence stretch, letting them stew in their shock. Then I grabbed my room key, flashed the receptionist a smile, and said thanks. "I'm going up now." I walked away, not looking back. And damn, it felt incredible. The penthouse suite was everything. Floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of Central Park. A massive living space. A full dining area. And the bedroom? Absolutely glorious. King-size bed, fluffy pillows, and a bathroom bigger than some apartments. I threw my bag on the bed, kicked off my shoes, and stretched out, feeling like I owned the world. Then came the knock, sharp, impatient. I already knew who it was. I took my time answering. Ryan stormed in, my parents trailing behind him. You can't do this, Ryan snapped, like a kid whose toy had been taken away. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Do what? Take the best room. My mom looked offended. You know Ryan has trouble sleeping in small beds. I stared at her. That sounds like a Ryan problem. My dad huffed. We're a family. We should be staying together. Oh, now we're a family. I laughed dryly. Funny, I don't remember you two caring about that when you decided I'd be on the couch. Silence. Ryan scoffed. Whatever. Just switch rooms with me. I raised an eyebrow. Are you serious? Come on, it's not a big deal, my dad said, stepping forward. You don't even care about things like this. I stepped away from the wall and walked toward him. You're right, I used to not care because it never mattered. No matter what I did, Ryan always came first. I looked at all of them. But guess what? I booked the room. I paid for it, and now I care. Ryan shot me a glare. Stop acting like you're some big shot. You're just being petty. I chuckled. Oh, you have no idea how petty I can be. Mom rubbed her forehead, letting out an exasperated sigh. So where are we supposed to sleep? I shrugged. There's a second bedroom. Dad chimed in, but it only has one bed. I smirked. Yeah, funny how that works. Ryan's fists clenched in anger. I'm not sleeping on a couch. I shrugged again. Not my issue. They stormed off, their hushed arguing echoing down the hall as they dragged their bags toward the smaller room. I took my time enjoying the hot, relaxing shower in my luxurious bathroom, threw on a robe, and ordered room service, filet mignon, wine, and dessert. I stretched out on the private terrace, enjoying the view as my family stewed in their frustration. But I knew this wasn't over. Not with them. They wouldn't let it slide that easily. The next morning, I woke up feeling on top of the world. I slept like a rock in that bed. No guilt, no regrets. Then I checked my phone. Missed calls, text messages, one from Mom. We need to talk. Meet us downstairs for breakfast. I sighed. Of course. Fine, let's see what they're plotting. When I arrived at the hotel restaurant, they were already seated at a table filled with pastries, fruit, eggs, everything. Good morning, I greeted, sitting down. Dad cleared his throat. Let's just get straight to the point. I raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. Mom leaned forward. We think it would be better if we rebooked a larger suite, one that works for everyone. Ah, here it came, the manipulation. You mean one that works for Ryan, I said flatly. She ignored my comment. If we pool our money, we can upgrade. I took a sip of my coffee. How much are you putting in? Silence. Dad sighed. We were hoping you'd cover it. I nearly spit out my coffee. I stared at them, then burst out laughing. You can't be serious. Ryan shifted in his seat. It's not a big deal. You already spent money on the penthouse. Exactly, my money, my decision. I leaned back in my chair. If you want a bigger suite, you pay for it. Dad rubbed his temples. Why are you being so difficult? Why do you act like I owe you anything? I shot back. You had no issue sticking me on a couch to make Ryan comfortable. But now that the tables have turned, it's unfair. Ryan rolled his eyes. You're blowing this out of proportion. I turned to him, my voice calm but deadly. And you've spent your whole life getting everything you wanted. So maybe, just maybe, it's time for you to know what it feels like to be second best. Silence fell. Ryan pushed his plate away and stood up. Whatever. I'm not doing this. Mom sighed dramatically. I don't understand why you're being so selfish. I let out a short laugh. Selfish? You raised me to be the one who always compromised, who always made space for Ryan, who always sacrificed what I wanted. I shook my head. Not anymore. I stood up, threw my napkin onto the table, and walked out, leaving them stunned. But as I stepped into the elevator, I knew this wasn't the end. They weren't finished yet, and neither was I. I thought that would be the end of it, that they would sulk for a while, complain to each other, and eventually accept that I wasn't playing the game anymore. But no, they weren't done, and I should have known better. That afternoon, I decided to explore the city alone. Walked through Central Park, grabbed coffee at a quiet cafe, even browsed a bookstore. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. No obligations, no one expecting me to fall in line. Then I got the text. Mom, Hey, sweetheart, we feel terrible about this morning. Can we do dinner? Our treat, just to reset things. I stared at the screen. I didn't trust it, not one bit. But a part of me, the part that still foolishly wanted to believe they could change, thought maybe they finally understood. Maybe this was an olive branch. So, against my better judgment, I texted back, sure. Biggest mistake of my life. The setup. They chose a high-end steakhouse near the hotel. Private booths, dim lighting, the kind of place where business deals were made and rich people whispered over overpriced wine. When I arrived, they were already seated, dressed up like it was a formal event. Hey, I said slowly, sliding into the booth. Mom smiled. We're so glad you came. Dad flagged down the waiter and ordered a bottle of wine. Ryan remained quiet, stirring his drink. Something felt off. Dinner started out normally. Small talk. Forced laughter. They were trying way too hard to be nice. Then, halfway through the meal, Dad cleared his throat. So, we had a little chat with the hotel. My stomach dropped. Mom gave me a tight smile. Turns out there was a mix-up with your reservation. I set my fork down. What? Ryan finally spoke. Yeah, apparently the hotel accidentally overbooked the penthouse suite. I narrowed my eyes. Funny, I didn't get any calls about that. Dad shrugged. Well, they called us. Since we originally planned the trip, they said they could move you to a different room. That's more reasonable. And there it was. The trap. They lied to the hotel, told them I wasn't supposed to have the penthouse, probably claimed it was a mistake, or that I booked it by accident. I took a slow breath. You manipulated the hotel. Mom reached for my hand. Sweetheart, this has all gotten out of control. We just want to fix it. Ryan smirked. Yeah, so let's go back, switch rooms, and be done with it. There it was. The real reason behind this whole thing. They weren't sorry. They never were. They just wanted me back under their control, back in my place. I leaned back, crossing my arms. No. Mom's smile faltered. What? I tilted my head. You don't get it, do you? I told him no, Dad. He sighed and rubbed his temples. Why are you making this so hard? Ryan rolled his eyes. Come on, just take the smaller room. It's no big deal. I let out a sharp laugh. No big deal. You three went behind my back, lied to the hotel, and tried to steal my reservation. And now you're acting like I'm the problem. Mom switched to her usual tone, soft and persuasive, the one she used when she was trying to manipulate me. Sweetheart, it's just about what's fair. I stared at her. Fair? The word felt like sandpaper on my tongue. I pushed my chair back and stood. You want to talk about fair? Fair would have been treating me like an equal my whole life. Fair would have been respecting the fact that I paid for that suite. Fair would have been not pulling some sneaky, underhanded trick to get what you want. The whole restaurant had gone quiet. People were staring. Good. Let them. I pulled out some cash and dropped it on the table. Enjoy your meal. I'll begin my penthouse. Then I walked out. The fallout? By the time I made it back to the hotel, I was seething. I marched straight to the front desk. The hotel manager looked up and smiled. Missed my last name. Good evening. I cut him off. Did my parents call about my reservation? His smile faltered. I know they did, I said, voice sharp. I want to know exactly what they told you. He hesitated, then sighed. They claimed you made a mistake with your booking, that you were supposed to be in a standard room, and they were fixing it for you. I clenched my teeth, and you believed them. Well, they seemed sure, and I pulled up my reservation email. Here's my confirmation. I pay for this myself. My parents have no say in this room. His face drained of color. Oh. I repeated flatly, oh. So here's what's going to happen, I said, leaning in. First, you're not changing my reservation. Second, you're flagging their account so they can't make any more requests. And third, if anyone touches my booking again, I won't just take my business elsewhere. I'll make sure every review site knows how this hotel lets manipulative family members get away with screwing over guests. His eyes went wide. Understood. Good, I said. Take care of it. The final blow. I headed up to my suite, locked the door, and poured myself a drink. My phone started lighting up with messages. Mom, why would you do that? We were just trying to help. Dad, that was completely unnecessary. You embarrassed us. Rayan. Wow. You really just ruined the whole trip. Selfish. I stared at the screen. Then I blocked all three of them. I kicked back and enjoyed the view from my penthouse. The next morning, I woke up feeling incredible. I stretched out in my king-size bed, relishing the luxury of my suite, while my parents and Rayan were likely crammed into their tiny room, miserable. I checked my phone. Still blocked. Perfect. But I wasn't done with them yet. They thought they could play dirty. They thought they could manipulate me and get away with it. They had no idea who they were messing with. The final setup. I got dressed, grabbed my wallet, and headed down to the concierge. "Good morning, Mr. Last Name," the concierge greeted, smiling. I smiled back. "I need a favor. Set me up with a full spa day, massage, facial, the works, and charge it to my parents' room." The concierge hesitated, but I slid a crisp $100 bill across the counter. She took it. "Of course, sir." After a luxurious spa treatment on my parents' dime, I went to the hotel's designer store and picked out a few ridiculously expensive souvenirs. A designer watch, a leather wallet I didn't need, a silk tie, all charged to their room. It was time they understood what it felt like to be taken advantage of. The cherry on top. That evening, I called the front desk. "Hi. I'd like to set up a special romantic dinner for my parents in their room." The receptionist perked up. "That sounds lovely. We can arrange candles, champagne, rose petals." "Perfect. And make sure it's just for two." She hesitated. "Only two." I grinned. "Yes, just two. My brother doesn't need a meal." She paused, then giggled. "Understood." An hour later, I got a text from Mom. "Mom, why is there a romantic dinner in our room? Where's Ryan's meal?" I sipped my wine and smirked. "Me? Oh, sorry. I thought since you always put Ryan first, you'd enjoy some time alone with him." No response. Then the hotel manager called. "Mr. Last Name, your parents are at the front desk demanding an explanation for the charges on their room." I grinned. "Tell them I hope they enjoy their treats, and make sure they can't reverse the charges. After all, they told you they were handling my room, right?" Silence. Then the manager laughed. "I'll take care of it, sir." The breaking point. That night I was relaxing on my private terrace, enjoying the view when I heard an angry knock at the door. I knew who it was. I took my time answering. When I finally opened it, my parents stood there fuming. Ryan sulked behind them. "What do you think you're doing?" my dad demanded. I leaned against the doorframe, unbothered. "Oh, I'm just treating you the way you've treated me my whole life." Mom's face went red. "You charged thousands of dollars to our room." I smirked. "Oh, don't worry, you're handling it, right?" Dad clenched his fists. "This is childish." I shrugged. "So was lying to the hotel and trying to steal my room. So was always putting Ryan first." I crossed my arms. "Now you know what it feels like." Ryan muttered, "This is insane." I looked right at him. "You think this is insane? Try being the kid who was always second place. Try watching your brother get everything while you're left with nothing." I took a slow breath. "You guys built this mess. I'm just making sure you finally live in it." They stood there, speechless. Then I smiled, stepped back, and began closing the door. "Enjoy your tiny room." Click. Door locked. The aftermath. The next morning, my parents and Ryan left the hotel early, not even bothering to say goodbye. I stayed for the rest of my trip, completely unbothered. When I checked out, the hotel manager grinned. "Your parents looked very unhappy when they left." I smirked. "Good." I handed him another tip for making sure no one touched my reservation. Final thought. My parents and Ryan haven't spoken to me since. Best silence of my life. And the best part, I still have the designer watch they paid for, and every time I wear it, I smile. Because for the first time ever, I won. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Stay stunned.